What's up, guys? Crypto Muser here with your daily news and analysis in the crypto markets. Now, yesterday I put out a video about the update in the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit, in that Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple were trying to get the notes from the SEC regarding this meeting in 2018 between Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, and then Commissioner Roisman at the SEC. And, Brad Garlinghouse, under oath in his deposition, stated that Commissioner Roisman told him that he believed, or the SEC believed, that XRP was not a security. Now, Ripple has the notes to this meeting, but now they're trying to corroborate those notes. They're trying to get the notes from the SEC. So, obviously, the SEC is trying to appeal that. So they come down and say, this is last night, SEC files motion for extension of time until February 24th, 2022, to respond to the motion to compel turnover of notes from the 2018 meeting between CEO Brad Garlinghouse and Commissioner Roisman. Now, Ripple objects, obviously, and says response should be filed a week earlier and on February 17th. Now, again, any reason the SEC has to, or any way they can get an extension, they always file for it, right? Another time, it's like the 6th or 7th time that the SEC is filing for another extension. And what do you think happened? As much as we hate this, the judge texts, yes, the SEC's motion for extension is granted. The SEC shall file its response to defendant's letter motion on February 24th, 2022. At that time, the SEC is further ordered to email the chambers the challenged Estabrook notes for an in-camera review. Again, so it's like, every time the SEC asks for an extension, the judge grants it. And, why? A lot of people ask, why would the judge be, just keep giving them more and more time? And a lot of people have been theorizing about this. And I actually agree with these people that have been saying that the reason why the judge has been granting all these extensions is that the judge is basically trying to make this case as bulletproof as possible so that the SEC can't come down later and say, we were treated unfairly, we didn't have enough time, and we want to appeal this case. Now, the fact that the SEC has been has been granting these extensions throughout the whole case and has been treating, obviously, the SEC more than fair in this case. Honestly, I think that the judges have been treating both sides very fairly. Obviously, XRP community members and, crypto community members as a whole, don't like when the SEC keeps asking for extensions and the judge keeps granting them. But like I said, I think this is because the judge is trying to really make this as solid a case as possible so the SEC cannot come down after a summary judgment or a settlement comes in and the SEC comes down and says they want to appeal this ruling. So it makes sense if you think about it. The judge has been very fair, like I said, and this really is the only reason why I don't think that the judge is being biased for the SEC. I just don't. That's not the case. We haven't seen that throughout this whole lawsuit. But it is very, obviously people can be, a little pissed because I feel like this has been extended, an extra 6 months to 7 months now, right? This case was supposed to end last September. Look at us now. We're in February, mid-February even, and this case still isn't done. So obviously people are going to be pissed for sure. But like I said, I think that the SEC is backed into a corner here, and the only power they have in this case is this extension and delay tactic. And I still believe bottom line, I still believe a settlement is coming. And I really don't think that even these letters and these notes are really going to hurt the SEC's case huge, because think about this. In 2018 is when supposedly the investigation into Ripple and XRP started. So if what the SEC is trying to say is that, Ripple knew that they were doing something illegal this whole time and knew that XRP was a security, well, how is that going to help their argument when a commissioner at the time in 2018 told the CEO of Ripple that XRP was not a security? That basically kills their case. And obviously the fair notice ruling coming down, that solidifies that argument for sure. So this would be a huge win for Ripple. And I just, with the Hinman emails and these notes, it just seems like this is like the final straw for the SEC. And I really believe that, I don't even think they want to hand over these documents. They definitely don't want to hand over the Hinman emails. But these documents even are going to ruin their case too. So I feel like a settlement is imminent. The SEC doesn't want to lose power, right? And this would definitely a bad loss in this case would take a lot of power away from the SEC and going after other cryptocurrencies in the future. So I just think that they can't afford that, and I've been saying this over and over again. But I just believe that the SEC is going to try to save face in this terrible lawsuit that they've had with Ripple, and they're going to try to settle and give them, like I said, save face a little bit as much as they can. And I believe a settlement will come down soon enough. I won't give us weeks or months or whatever, but soon enough there will be a settlement, and I believe that would cause XRP price obviously to skyrocket. So moving on from there, Jason Foster, he is the founder and CEO, founder and president of Empower Oversight. And Empower Oversight is a nonprofit government oversight agency that has been asking for, through the FOIA, or Freedom of Information Act, is asking for documents related to conflicts of interest with past employees of the SEC. And this article I read was unbelievable. And I just want to read the second half of it just to give you guys an idea of what's happening with this case and what's happening with this Empower Oversight and what they're trying to get from the SEC. So it reads, Empower Oversight's FOIA requests are aimed at learning whether any SEC documents might support the widespread claims of apparent conflicts of interest that are undermining public confidence in the SEC's neutrality and objectivity. Specifically, 3 former SEC officials had a direct hand in crypto enforcement actions that moved the markets. Former Chairman Jay Clayton, former Director of Corporate Finance William Hinman, and former Director of Enforcement Mark Berger. The fact that all 3 have personal financial ties to entities that benefited from the SEC's enforcement priorities have naturally raised suspicions, particularly among holders of the digital assets impacted directly by the SEC's actions. Now, was the SEC aware of these financial ties, and what, if anything, did it do to mitigate the appearance of conflicts of interest? Did any of these men communicate while inside the SEC with those who paid them before, during, or after they were involved in these enforcement actions? These are some very key questions that the SEC needs to address in order to restore public faith in its integrity. Now, why have some lost faith in the SEC's objectivity? On the last day of Jay Clayton's term as SEC chairman, Berger's division filed a lawsuit against a crypto industry giant, Ripple Labs. The SEC alleged that the token XRP has been an unregistered security since the inception, and that all sales since then in 2013 have violated Section 5 of the Securities Act. At the time of the enforcement action, XRP was the 3rd largest cryptocurrency of market cap behind Bitcoin and Ethereum. The December 2020 lawsuit immediately crashed XRP's price on exchanges, which led them to delist the token out of fear of further SEC retaliation. Now, the SEC's action has essentially wiped out $15 billion in value for tens of thousands of retail holders around the world. That didn't exactly further the SEC's official mission of protecting investors. Adding insult to injury, the SEC unsuccessfully opposed, allowing these holders of the token to file amicus briefs in the case. Immediately after filing the Ripple lawsuit, Clayton and Berger left the SEC to work for companies that have financial interests in promoting Bitcoin and Ethereum, the 2 leading competitors of the digital asset XRP. Now, Clayton returned to the Wall Street firm of Sullivan and Cromwell, where he'd made his fortune before the SEC's service, and where one of its clients, Consensus, is a direct competitor to Ripple. Clayton also joined the advisory council for cryptocurrency hedge fund One River Asset Management, which had consolidated a $1 billion investment in Bitcoin and Ethereum shortly before Clayton's agency filed the Ripple lawsuit. For his part, Berger joined the Wall Street firm Simpson & Thacher & Bartlett, which is a member of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, a coalition built by Consensus to promote the market Ethereum. Hinman's ties to Simpson & Thacher, to which he returned after leaving the SEC, were much deeper. He'd been a partner at the firm before joining the government, and during the tenure of the SEC, Hinman received more than $15 million in payments from the Ethereum-linked firm. Perhaps the most glaring questions arise from the high-profile speech that Hinman gave in 2018, where he declared that putting aside the fundraising that accompanied the creation of Ethereum, the token was not a security, and its sales were not securities transactions. Ether's market value subsequently rose by more than 600%. Evidence made public in the Ripple case reveals that Hinman met with consensus on multiple occasions before giving the speech, as well as a group of lawyers organized by venture capitalist giant Andreessen Horowitz to present a safe harbor regulatory white paper that exclusively mentioned Ethereum. Now, 3 months before the Ripple lawsuit was filed, Clayton's firm Sullivan and Cromwell assisted Consensus in the acquisition of the Quorum platform designed to directly challenge Ripple's cross-border payments business. In addition to the returning to Simpson and Thatcher, days after the Ripple's case was filed, Hinman became an advisory partner at Andreessen and Horowitz multi-billion-dollar crypto investment fund. Now, with all this evidence raising questions about the objectivity of the SEC's enforcement agenda, critics are pointing to Clayton, Hinman, and Berger as the latest examples of this classic revolving door between regulatory agencies and the companies they regulate. This is understandably frustrating to citizens who are fed up with the lack of transparency and how enforcement actions are taken, and a lack of oversight by agencies' ethics offices that are often toothless, and by Congress, which is the last resort for Americans who want meaningful oversight of the regulators by its elected representatives. Now, the SEC has yet to answer Empower Oversight's FOIA lawsuit, and we had asked for communications between Clayton, Hinman, and Berger and those outside the SEC with a financial interest in the SEC's enforcement decisions. At first, the SEC claimed that they did not find anything, but following our appeals and questions about how the searches were done, the agency recently admitted that around 1,000 pages of communications between Mr. William Hinman and Simpson and Thatcher turned up after all. 1,000 pages, guys. They come out and say there's nothing, and then all of a sudden, lo and behold, we actually have 1,000 pages of communications between William Hinman and the law firm Simpson and Thatcher that was paying him $15 million while he was at the SEC. So as of this writing, though, the SEC has still failed to turn over any of these pages. Today is February 11, 2022. Was the deadline for the SEC to answer our lawsuit in court. On Thursday, February 10th, we agreed to a 1 week extension on condition that the SEC provide the documents it had already located. We are also sending the SEC some additional search terms to inform the additional searches it agreed to conduct. Empower Oversight expects the full measure of legality, required transparency from the SEC, and we will continue to press the SEC to find and produce the documents it is required by law to disclose to the public. Cases like this is why the FOIA is so crucial to our democracy and why transparency through government is critical in keeping the powerful in check. But it ain't easy. Perfect article, guys, just outlining everything that's going on with this case, with Ripple, and the just conflicts of interest that were going on involving these commissioners and employees at the SEC, and that they were basically working and getting paid by people that worked for Ethereum and people, crypto funds that were highly involved in Ethereum and Bitcoin. And obviously, it looks like, obviously this is Ethereum. This is not proven yet, but it looks like, these officials at the SEC were trying to undermine XRP and Ripple to benefit themselves in the future. So, well, obviously it's great to see Empower Oversight going after the SEC like this, and with the FOIA, with the Freedom of Information Act, it looks like will have to turn over these documents. So we'll see where that goes, but it's just great to see that this agency is really going after the SEC. Moving on. So this is Tony Edward, Thinking Crypto. This was, I believe this morning this came out. The SEC mob shakedown continues. Pay to play. Gary Gensler is going to be lining his pockets with this $100 million from BlockFi. So they went after BlockFi, and I believe the case only lasted a couple months. But like most of the time, there is a settlement, and this settlement was for $100 million. So this just shows you what the SEC is about. They're going after these lending platforms, these DeFi platforms for sure, and they're just basically looking for, like Tony's saying, it's a mob shakedown. 100 million here, 200 million here. These are huge numbers in settlements for sure, but it's just like, this is what the SEC is going after now. They want these payouts. And it just further demonstrates how corrupt in nature this agency is. And you're going to see more and more of this for sure going down the line. So along those same lines, John Deaton, the XRP community member attorney, tweeted this out. And I thought this was, very telling in what's going on in this case. And he says and he names all these other news agencies, CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, Fox. If all these platforms haven't covered the most significant non-fraud SEC enforcement action in decades, by now it's obvious it's an intentional decision. It makes so much sense, right? Like, obviously mainstream media protects government, right? It's been happening forever. As much as we want to say that media is disconnected from politics, that's not the case. It is so connected to politics and money right now. It's unbelievable. And that's why I don't really watch these news agencies, because I believe it's all BS, basically, right? And the fact that this case hasn't been covered by anybody but Fox Business just tells me that they are protecting the SEC. They are protecting the face of this government agency. And it just shows you that the corrupt nature of our government and corporations and the money involved and all this it's in our face, right? It's been in our face forever, but with this case, it's just proving further that these government agencies are owned by the bank cartels, and which are owned obviously by the big media platforms, and obviously they're not going to do anything to make the SEC look bad. So it's terrible to see, but hopefully when Ripple wins this case, it'll give us a big boost. And it's good to see this government oversight agency going after the SEC too, because we need an investigation. We need Congress to step in here, because we know that the mainstream media is not going to cover it. We know that the White House or the government's not going to do anything. So we need Congress, our supposed representatives that represent the people, to investigate the SEC. And I'm not too hopeful that it will happen, but if we let our voices heard enough, it just might happen. So I'll end the video there, guys. Please remember to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notification. And just please remember, I am not a financial advisor. Please do not take anything I write or say as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. And thanks, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.